The next little phase of my trip there is Buckingham Palace. That's where we just were. Go and check it out. This is the Duke of York steps. You know why? Because that guy on top of that enormous column is the Duke of York. He is, well, he's kind of the last royal in our history that actually exercised proper military, high military command. Is that fair to say? Yeah, I think it's fair to say. Correct me if I'm wrong. And we're going to Trafalgar Square, but just as we go, let's look at Whitehall here. Hey, thanks for sharing, Kit. Wow, hello in Ukraine, what's up? That's Whitehall, that's where Henry VIII used to joust. That is the Grand Old Duke of York. As you say, that was the Grand Old Duke of York up there. He had 10,000 men, he marched on top of it, he marched down again. That reflects his slightly unfortunate campaign, I think it was in the Low Countries, in the French Revolutionary Wars. That is the Second World War addition to, or the early 20th century edition of the Admiralty there. It's where all their, hey Guam, how you doing? Good evening, Guam. That's the British Admiralty edition in the 20th century. Kind of making it more bomb-proof. A lot of their communications equipment, things in there. That's the 19th century Admiralty building. Check it out. There we go, that's it. And now look at some of this beautiful architecture here. This is classic of this kind of part of London. These Nash terraces. This is actually an art gallery. Well, this one down here is an art gallery. And then we are going, people. We are going under Admiralty Arch, which used to be office space for the Royal Navy when it was at its peak, and is now sold into private hands. But when they were sold, there was a contract that said they had to fly the white ensign, the naval ensign, on big state occasions. Very clever. You can't quite see over there because the sun is shining. But that over there is Captain Cook on the other side of the road. There he is, that statue there. That is Captain Cook, the man who navigated the British fleet up the St. Lawrence River and helped to capture Canada, and obviously who was the first Brit to land in New South Wales in Australia. That is a monument to the Royal Marines, who fought in every major combat of the last 300 years, 350 years, and who simply, they have so many battle honours that they could write on their flags, on their equipment and stuff. They just write Gibraltar, which signifies how tough the siege of Gibraltar was during the War of American Independence. Okay, everyone, we're going underneath Admiralty Arch. Check it out. This is built in the reign of Edward VII, and during the First World War, the dreadnoughts were commanded from here. They were coming out in Trafalgar Square. The history of the Royal Navy lies thick here in London, everybody. Here we go, we're coming out into Trafalgar Square now. These are government buildings, government offices, or they certainly were. We've got the Strand up there. It's called the Strand because it used to be the beach of the Thames. The Thames used to extend up to there. That was the Strand, the edge of the Thames. Now the Thames has been pushed further back. It's been embanked and pushed into being a sort of narrower river over that way. Now if you go right down there, you get to Whitehall and Westminster. That's where King Charles I was executed down there. That's where Westminster Abbey is. And up here though, we've got Britain's greatest naval hero of all time. None other than Vice Admiral Horatio Nelson, looking down on his on the square named after his greatest naval victory, Trafalgar. Oh, I'm about to get run over by a bus. Trafalgar's probably the greatest naval victory in British history, or the most celebrated naval victory in British history. 1805 against the French and Spanish, and the French and Spanish guns that were captured that battle were melted down to make the relief, the freeze there, to make those lions melted down. That is the ultimate. Thanks for sharing, Happy Man, much appreciated. Okay team, we're going across, we're going across. Now Trafalgar Square is where people have come together to celebrate, to protest, to riot, to cause trouble, to be happy, to listen to music, to party throughout its history. It was the Royal Stables used to be here, and then it was widely reconstructed in the early 19th century. There's Nelson up there doing his bit. Nelson being shot at Trafalgar in October 1805. Nelson was shot through the spine and slowly drowned on his own blood on the orlop deck of HMS Victory. But there's the National Gallery there, with one of the finest collections of art anywhere in the world. Hundreds of millions of pounds worth of paintings there. And do you want to see the smallest police station? These fountains were extended. Those fountains were actually extended by the government, who were nervous about people gathering in this square and causing trouble, political agitation. So they were extended to take up more of the square. This is the smallest police station in the world, everybody. There you go. It was a police monitoring station in the 19th century, and it was like a little fortress. You could be in there monitoring the crowd with a telephone books, little telephone connection, and call in help if it was needed. There's Canada House there. As a Canadian, I'm very proud of that. As Canada's traditional, that was her High Commission in the UK. Imperial heroes of Britain. Now everyone's forgotten who they are. That's the nature of history. And we've got George IV up there, who was the king who was in charge while this square was commissioned. He was a particularly useless king. He died, I think his waist was 60 inches when he died. He was interested in living well and partying and collecting magnificent furniture. And frankly, why not? We got Beatty and Jellicoe, two heroes of the Royal Navy during the First World War. And looking back, there we go, looking back now on Trafalgar Square. There he is. It's a good day to see Trafalgar Square as well. Nelson on top of his column. Okay everyone, I gotta go to work. See you later.